Hey guys, this is Echo Soundworks with another tutorial for ADSR and SylenthTutorials.com. If you are not subscribed to the YouTube channel and you'd like to do that, you can sign up at youtube.com/ADSRtuts. So today we're not going to actually be making a sound in Sylenth. It's going to cover a topic on more of how to do something. Sylenth doesn't come with an embedded vibrato. Like Massive, for instance, it has a section, or most synths for that matter, have kind of a section where you can just, it has a vibrato control. So you have to manually make it in Sylenth, and newcomers and even maybe some people who are intermediate users, they may be a little confused on how to create some very controllable and expressive vibrato in Sylenth. So I thought I would show you guys. So I have a sound pulled up. It's just kind of a standard saw sound. So it's nothing too crazy. So the easiest way and quickest way to do to create vibrato in Sylenth is to simply use one of the LFOs. It's kind of a two-part process. You can just use one of the LFOs and have it affect one of these parameters in the drop-down box, but it's more controllable and expressive, and I think musical, if you also control the attack, the decay, the sustain, and the release of that LFO in one of your modulation envelopes. So for this sound, first thing I'm going to do is if you just crank the gain up, you'll notice there's no vibrato. Right? So what you have to do is you have to click on this drop-down box and you have to select one of these parameters. So you could select cutoff, for instance. And you can hear it affecting the cutoff rate, but that's not how you would generally, what you'd want to do to create a classic vibrato effect. What you'd want to do is you'd want to select the pitch A and B, or the pitch A, depending on how many page parts you have going on. So this sound is using both part A and part B, so it makes sense to use pitch A and B. So now if I turn the gain down and I turn the rate up to just halfway, and I leave the pitch, so if by default it'll be at about 0, so there'll be no sound. So to get a vibrato, you just want to bump it a little bit, just by a few decimal places, so like 0.10. So let me turn down the noise oscillator real quick. So what I'll typically do is I'll just bump this to 0.10 or maybe 0.19 if it's like a monophonic lead and I'm just hitting one note and kind of holding it out for a while. But 0.10, I find that it works the best. So then you can just toy around with your gain. So you can hear the vibrato in there, and you can affect the rate. So right now, that's the really cool thing about Sylenth and doing it this way is the vibratos are you don't have to worry about tempo syncing or anything like that because you're selecting note values. So if I want like a 16th note vibrato, that's a 16th note vibrato. So I don't have to worry about it. So the rates are just dependent on how fast or how slow you want it to go. Really slow vibratos work for more of the creepy, kind of eerie sounds. Quicker vibratos are like quarter note, 8th note, and 16th notes are what you typically hear. Okay, so now what you can do is you can go to any of the modulation envelopes that Sylenth offers you. So there's 2 of them, and you can select LFO rate, gain. So if we're using LFO 1, I can select the gain here. And now I can have the attack, boost this attack a little. So let me turn off this pitch A and B. So you don't hear the vibrato anymore. It's because I'm controlling the gain of the first LFO via this modulation envelope. So if I hold out a chord, you hear it come in. So you can create some really cool effects. Like you can have this it's pretty popular in EDM right now, where the vibrato kind of comes in after you play, after it goes through the attack stage and into the decay stage of the sound. So you can get even more expressive and you can get a really high amount of control with it. So what I'll do is I'll typically boost the attack a little by about 2 to 2.5. So then the vibrato is not on the attack of the sound, so it's not out of tune with my other instruments like maybe a bass or something else that has a sharp attack, short decay. And then you can just boost the decay a little and have the sustain up a little. and you have what's a pretty musical result. So if I turn this off, you can hear the difference. It really helps kind of thicken up the sound a little. And again, just pitch A and B, and then you can mess around with the rate or the gain. But I'll typically do the gain, because then I can not have the vibrato come in right on the attack of my notes. So that is a really quick and easy way to create vibrato in Sylenth. All right, so if you guys have any questions or comments, let me know below, and I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. And if you haven't checked out synthtutorials.com, head on over there. Tons of great tutorials and presets and everything synth. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.